Well, hello out there, great people in YouTube land and all social media lands. Welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge, now part of the great GNN network. Just wanted to give a shout out to GNN. We are now officially part of their network, which you can find them on Facebook. You can find them on their website, and they're just a really cool company that we are so wonderfully happy to be a part of. We have a great cast of people and panel for you tonight. We will be discussing, I thought we were discussing Hawkeye Episode 3, but on our title it says Hawkeye Episode 1 and 2 Breakdown Review.
My bad.
So yes, we are actually doing Hawkeye Episode 3, folks,
Hey,
out there in your wonderful land there. Anyway, so we have returning from the amazing MCU Monday from the GNN Network, Miss Debi. She is a co-host of MCU Monday along with Chris. Thank you for coming on by, Miss Debi.
No problem.
Great to have you with us. And later on, we should have a couple other people joining us. One will be Gerald. That is a part of the pop culture Cosmo and PCC Multiverse podcast. So that should be interesting to see him. He'll be on. This will be my first time meeting him, so I don't know if he's been on before, but I don't think he has. And then we also will have William joining us, who is also a part of the GNN network as well. Who is a real pleasure. He was on before and really enjoyed him. But they should be popping up shortly, both of them, and giving their insight on the great Hawkeye Episode 3 that we'll be talking about tonight. So to start us off, how about Jeff? Would you like to roll those awesome Hawkeye trailer and promos for Episode 3, please?
I would absolutely love to.
Can I tell you a secret? I'm working with an Avenger.
Can I speak to your manager?
Didn't realize you were supposed to bring guns.
It's almost Christmas. I can't go home until I fix this.
Should we be worried?
I'll be home for Christmas. I promise. Sorry, Santa. We're out of regular arrows.
Oh my God, trick arrows?
We're saving the holidays.
Marvel Studios Hawkeye. First 2 episodes streaming November 24th, only on Disney Plus.
I was just getting used to this place, you know?
Yeah, well, now it's compromised. Hey. I wanted to talk. No. Your father, always. You are.
Hey guys.
All right.
I
That
have
was
one
interesting.
more. I'm sorry, Cyber. I have one more, and it's actually uploading right now. So if you'll just give me like 20 seconds, I'll play the last one.
Okay. So yeah, as we wait for that, I just think that's interesting. That's an actual little clip from the actual episode. So I think that's fun.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to squeak by with it, and we won't get in any trouble with the YouTube gods.
YouTube gods. Not the YouTube gods.
Yes, we'll be hoping very, very much that there won't be any kind of copyright stuff with that or whatever. But on one side note, last week when we were on here and Cyber wasn't here, I played a trailer, a promo that was for Hawkeye, and it had the Kingpin in it, and it was like fan fiction. It wasn't legit. So I just want to put that out there now, a week later, that just for everybody out there. I'm sorry about that.
Mm.
Can I tell you a secret? I'm working with an Avenger.
Can I speak to your manager?
Didn't realize you were supposed to bring guns.
It's almost Christmas. I can't go home until I fix this.
Should we be worried?
I'll be home for Christmas. I promise. Sorry, Santa. We're out of regular arrows.
Oh my God, trick arrows?
We're saving the holidays.
Marvel Studios Hawkeye. First 2 episodes streaming November 24th, only on Disney Plus.
All right. So those are some
trailer. I apologize.
It's all good. So that trailer, those 2 trailers are just so fun. I think it's funny that they're pretty basic, but I mean, pretty much what they showed in those trailers was basically the first 2 episodes. So I think that's kind of funny. That's what they decided to do the trailers with. Let's show pretty much most of the first 2 episodes, which is funny, but definitely fun. So, like I was saying before, we're going to be talking about episode 3 tonight, folks out there in YouTube and social media lands. And this episode was actually called Echo. And it kind of gives us a backstory a little bit on the character of Echo, which I don't know how many of you out there know that Echo actually has already been greenlit for its own spin-off show, which I find interesting, even before the Hawkeye series came out with this deaf character. And if you look into the comics, actually, one thing I noticed was there are a few differences of who Echo is from the comics in what they're doing in the Hawkeye series. So to start us off with this, we kind of get a small prologue, basically, at the beginning of this episode, showing Echo when she's a youth. I don't know, she's probably like 10 or 11 or something like that. And she's talking with her father, and she's going to normal school, not going to a deaf school. And then we see her basically going, she's doing karate. And we find out she has a fake leg during this, portion of the episode. So we have all that happen within that little time gap, and then it goes to her being an adult and showing basically the demise of her father. So my first question for the panel is, what were your first thoughts on that kind of introduction to Echo? What did you think about the differences that they took in this episode 2 with kind of having her be even more disabled than she is in the comics versus just being a deaf girl in the comics? So starting with you, Debbie, what did you think about that beginning prologue?
Well, I mean, the actual actress, she has a prosthetic leg.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're following the character more or less, but kind of adding a little diversity to it and hiring her, with an actual prosthetic leg. So I thought that was an interesting choice. And it also shows that, even though you have something like that, you can still kick some ass. So I thought that was interesting.
How about you, Jeff?
I mean, I like to try to be on top of this stuff, but all I knew was that Echo from the comic books didn't have the prosthetic leg. So I was kind of shocked a little bit and surprised. I couldn't tell from watching that sparring session or whatever at first. I couldn't tell if it was both of them that had like a missing leg or if it was just one of them. And then I realized that they both did. And I guess it's an interesting twist. Like, I mean, same thing like Debbie said. There's a positive message to it, so I like the positive message. I think that in terms of the fact that so many of our service members come back, unfortunately, from abroad with missing limbs and stuff like that and everything and whatnot. I think that it's nice, to see Marvel casting an actress that is, I believe, now I cannot remember if this is, I might be confusing her with the actress Laura Ridloff for the Eternals. One of them is actually deaf in real life, but I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember if it's Aliqua Cox, which is Echo in this series, or if it's Laura Ridloff that played I forget which one of the Eternals in the Eternals film. But we've had a lot of deaf like characters, it seems like, recently in Marvel Studios. And as far as I mean, do you want me to expand into like that whole intro with her, or are we?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I thought it was a great way to start the show. I thought it was really cool. It was an interesting kind of twist for them to do that. I didn't expect that. It made sense to me. I mean, it was very practical of them to do that. I mean, they wrapped up episode 2 with her, kind of like that's how the episode ended. So to start things off with her right off the bat, I thought was pretty neat. And I thought they did a really good job of giving Echo a origin story that was extremely brief. Maybe it only spanned like maybe 5 or 6 minutes, the whole thing or whatever. But they managed to put something together that basically really kind of gives you like a full story almost on her, to where like you can kind of go with the character from there. And I feel like they gave you a pretty good setup as far as kind of, who she is and her background and whatnot. Now, of course, they didn't explain exactly what she was doing with her father. If that was I want to believe that uncle, when she's at karate practice or whatever, that uncle that pops up and like touches her face, I think that was the Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And they just didn't want to show him. But I'm telling you right now, my money would be on the fact that the Kingpin is going to be in the series. I just don't see how it's not going to happen. There's a lot of rumors that it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to, and I hope they do. I'd love to see the Kingpin in this series. But yeah, it was great, Cyber. I really enjoyed it. Just a really interesting kind of twist, way to start the episode off.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, because as soon as that person pinched her cheek and you saw his hand, the first thing that came to mind was Kingpin to me. Mm-hmm. And especially with recently, Vincent D'Onofrio has said that, has said himself that possibly he could be in it, possibly he couldn't be, kind of like trying to throw people off kind of deal. But I'm pretty sure we'll be getting to see Kingpin at some point in the episode, just like you're saying in the series. Who knows? It could be very, very end of the 6th episode. You never know. It could be kind of like a tie-off that will lead into something else. You never know. But I definitely think we'll be seeing the Kingpin at some point, because the Kingpin plays a big integral part into Echo's, mythology. If you look at the comic books, he is the adopted father of Echo, because when her father dies, because her father was working for him, he actually killed him. The dying words of her father was, "Please take care of my daughter," and he ends up doing that and takes her in as an adopted daughter. So I think that that's something, if they want to keep this Echo character going and to reach off into the Echo series that they're going to be doing, what better way would be to have Kingpin be a part of that series, but show him briefly in Hawkeye to kind of introduce that into what the series is going to be. So I definitely think that's going to be a part of it. But yeah, that whole beginning scene was really well done. I thought it was interesting how it took us, a little bit of a history of her, so that we were kind of familiar with who she was, and kind of giving you that dynamic of what she's dealing with and why she is the way she is. So I thought they did a good job. So moving on, so basically then it comes to present day, and Hawkeye and Kate are in that warehouse where the red sweatsuit gang or whatever they call them or whatever they are,
Tracksuit.
tracksuit, thank you, gang, and Echo's there and the crew, and they're kind of like, still dealing with being stuck there and being tied down to those rides that they're on. And there's this huge battle basically that goes on in that scene. They're fighting and stuff. Hawkeye gets loose and starts fighting Echo. We get to see him find his get bow and arrow and start shooting bow and arrows and stuff and taking out bad guys. Kate gets free and starts helping and starts beating up people. I thought that the shopping cart where she was using to take out some of the guys was pretty funny. And basically, the whole scene was just really fun, I thought. So what were your guys' thoughts on that scene leading up to them escaping eventually out into the road and onto that car chase? We'll talk about the car chase in a few minutes, but that whole warehouse scene, what were your guys' thoughts on that? Starting with you, Jeff.
It was, there's a lot going on. It was a little bit difficult at times for me to be able to tell exactly what was going on. I liked seeing, I mean, I like Hawkeye in general. Anything that Hawkeye does, I like. But I like seeing him go hand to hand with people once in a while. Like I like to see, him showing that he can do that. Here's Gerald.
Hello, everyone.
Gerald.
There he is. Hey, Gerald.
Good evening, everyone.
Gerald, this is Cyber, my co-host, and this is Debi from Geek News Now Network.
Pleasure to meet both of you.
Nice to meet you.
All righty. I heard you talking Hawkeye, episode 3, already in the books. Already
right.
halfway done. Series is already halfway done.
Yeah, can you believe it? So basically, Gerald, I was just basically right before you jumped in. I was just basically giving my take on that whole scene in episode 3 where Hawkeye and Kate Bishop get tied up to those ponies or animals or whatever the hell they are,
Yes.
the rocking horses, and then there's the action scenes afterwards and everything where they're being chased and they get loose and Hawkeye fights Echo and everything. And I was just saying that one of the things I was really looking forward to in the series, besides seeing Hawkeye as Ronin again, maybe in some flashbacks or whatever, was seeing him fight hand to hand some more. Because we didn't get to see him do that very much at all in the Avengers. And in the Matt Fraction comic book run of Hawkeye that this is supposed to be loosely based on, there's a lot of Clint fight going hand to hand, hands on with people a lot during the comic book run. It's a common theme. But of course, like we talked about on MCU Mondays the other night with Chris and Debi, the comic book run is a lot more graphic too, and a lot darker than what we're getting with this series, which is understandable. But I thought it was really cool. I mean, I thought it was really awesome when Hawkeye finally got his bow and arrow back and everything. It was nice to see. I liked seeing Echo kind of not torturing Kate Bishop, but kind of roughing her up a little bit and everything. I thought that was actually kind of cool. She kind of put Kate Bishop in her place, and I actually kind of enjoyed that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. It sends a good sign. So, and now when you also look at Echo, you got to remember that she's going to be playing a larger role, not in this series, but down the line, she's going to be introduced more to audiences because she's going to have her own series coming up in the not too distant future. So she is going to play an integral part of the series going forward as maybe an anti-hero or something where she maybe disassociates herself from her uncle, per se, as we have seen so far hinted at, which we would probably assume is going to be the Kingpin based off the comic books.
Yes, we had actually talked about that a little bit ago before you came on. So thanks for that reiteration. Thank you very much.
My apologies on that. No, absolutely not. Yeah, I'm just excited. The Hawkeye for me is sounds like already is a favorite amongst the show, and it's a favorite of mine. Hawkeye has been someone that I've seen grow, and somebody that's not been able to get as much in the limelight as the other Avengers, and this is his time to shine. And even now, he's not going to be given as much time, maybe as a lot of hardcore Hawkeye fans like, because of the fact that they're trying to do, obviously, pay justice to the Hawkeye character, but also as well set up Kate Bishop for the future going forward, and also introduce you to Echo, and of course maybe reintroduce you to Kingpin and whatnot. But it's so many things to do in so little time, 6 episodes. I don't know how they're going to get it all successfully done, but so far they've done a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Cyber, if you don't mind me jumping in for a second, off Gerald real quick, I almost wonder what will end up happening if they do a season 2 with Hawkeye. I mean, as a Hawkeye fan, just like Gerald, and I know you are too, Cyber, and you are too, Debi. Some people don't like Hawkeye, but I do. And I'd love to see him come back for a second season with Kate Bishop. I don't feel like she's going to be ready by the end of this series to just jump right in on her own.
You don't think so? I think that she will do well if she had her own series by herself. I think if they set it up properly with this 6-part miniseries, that they'll be able to do it correctly and make it proper, and basically give you a good setting up for her going out on her own. But with it only being 6 parts, only 6 hours long, it basically, you think about it, it just, that's not enough time to really set up anything really concrete, I think. So I feel we'll be seeing more of Kate Bishop along with Hawkeye down the road. Just they haven't, officially said what they're going to officially do. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I would agree there, Jeff. It definitely, there's very big possibilities that it could not be set up properly. You never know. So moving on, Debi, your takes on that action sequence in the warehouse, please.
Well, I'm always up for action, but my favorite parts were Hawkeye when he does that. I don't even know what you call it. Fall away, shoots the arrow as he's falling down or jumping off a building, whatever. And when Kate slid around the pole and took out one of the tracksuit mafia dudes, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was.
I agree. I think that was really cool. Like, she goes sliding and then goes around that pole and takes him down. That was so cool. I was rooting, woo, 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 go Kate. That was so cool. Anything else from that scene that you'd like to talk about?
I mean, like I said, I love it when they put action in there. And it really kind of, to me, showed that or at least this version of the tracksuit mafia is, I don't know, they don't seem scary or threatening. I don't know how they were in the comic books, but yeah, they just seem like, like the Keystone Cops or something. I don't know. So it's almost kind of comical. And the only one I'm hoping we get a little more background on is Kazi, who's the clown, because in the comics he's kind of like a psychotic mercenary. So I mean, we haven't really seen that yet, because he seems almost kind of caring as it refers to Echo. So we'll see if he goes off on a tangent or anything, or if they're just going to keep him as kind of like a background character.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, that he is a more integral character in the comics. I know. I was researching him and I found that out. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes and what they do with that. Hey, William, how's it going?
How you doing, guys?
Thank you for popping on in. Glad to see you.
Hey, good to see you, man. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
William, this is Gerald that's with us over here. He's the host of the Pop Culture Cosmos. You've never met him before.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Good to meet you, man.
Gerald, William is the host of the Geek Gauntlet Podcast with Geek News Now Network.
Oh, that's good to hear. Absolutely. Anytime we can get some great geek content, there you go.
Yes, sir. That's the corroboration going on.
Excellent. So to get William and Gerald kind of up to date, so we were just talking about, we were pretty much at the second section of the episode 3 of Hawkeye, and the scene where basically it comes to present day, and Kate Bishop and Hawkeye are still tied up, and they're trying to get out of that warehouse with the tracksuit mafia. And we're talking about basically that action sequence there that leads up to the giant car chase afterwards. So
Yeah.
we're getting people's takes on that scene alone. So starting with you, Jared, what did you think about that scene?
Thought it was pretty good. Obviously, the tracksuit mafia is not meant to be the smartest or most effective group that's out there. Should we end every sentence with the word "bro"? By the way, for the rest of the show, I don't know.
Bro.
Should we, bro? Should we, bro?
Well, the name of their truck is Transit Bro or something like that. I was like,
Yeah, fix it, bro, or something like that.
Maybe what's up, bro?
Yes,
Hey, man, what's up,
it's.
bro?
I mean, they're for pure comedy purposes. I don't think anybody's going to be taken seriously, especially the viewer. I think that's part of what Matt Fraction was kind of getting across in his comic books. Although they had a little bit harder edge to them, like you guys were alluding to, as far as the whole gambit of the series is concerned. But in the warehouse, I mean, it was a nice little action scene. But you're talking, Jeff, about how you want to see more hand-to-hand combat and see more things that Hawkeye might be able to do in that arena. I think right now you see him more, after his days with the Avengers are for the most part, in the rearview mirror. I see him more in doing things in defensive mode because he's now concentrating on more in his life on being a father. Maybe you'll get a chance to see him pick up the sword as Ronin. That would be great. I know the swordsman is involved in this series, so as we've already seen already at the first couple episodes, so maybe we'll see that. But I did like what Echo can bring. Echo, when she got to face off against Hawkeye right there at the end, and you can just see what she can bring as far as from a physical standpoint. So I can't wait to see more what comes down the road for Echo. But with Hawkeye, obviously, as someone who's a favorite of mine as well, I'd like to see him be able to do more, but you're not sure in this run how much more he's going to get. But yeah, it was a nice little scene. And obviously any way he can outsmart the bros is always good for some comedy right there.
What up, bro?
True, very true.
To be clear, Gerald, bro, this is what William thinks of Hawkeye.
Yep. That's about
okay.
right. That's about
okay,
right.
bro. Okay, sounds good, bro.
Ready, bro. I'm ready. I'm ready to go into my diatribe, bro. I'm ready. Let's go, bro.
Are you going to try to give Hawkeye some love this week?
No, I ain't give a Hawkeye no love. No.
Come on, William. Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Look, his Avengers days gone past, he's more of us than ever. He's more being a family man and trying to make sure his kids are taken care of. He's trying to make sure he makes it back home for Christmas by trying to look out for Kate Bishop. And like I say, you got a little action scene. And I'll probably throw an action scene for you here and there, but it doesn't excuse the fact that without the Avengers, without the cosmic adventures, Hawkeye's boring. He's the most boring Avenger, and there's nothing there that makes him great or good. He's just boring. And it's not the fact that he's a normal human. No. That's not it. That's not the fact, because Green Arrow's a normal human, but at least Green Arrow has an interesting backstory. He has interesting backstory. He has the brooding. He has
Hold on a second. I want to ask you one question real quick.
Sure.
You ever take into consideration that when it comes to like superhero teams or any kind of team, like any action hero team or whatever, you always have to have those members, those characters who are like those cog pieces, those ones that are like the ones that bind the team, that kind of like, round out the roster, and they add like their own kind of distinct aspects.
So in other words, Hawkeye's the sixth man. Okay, I got you. He's the sixth man. I got you.
He's a glue guy. He's a glue guy, bro.
He's just boring, man. Without the Avengers, and again, they're gonna throw you a bone every now and again to keep the show moving, as far as giving you an action scene here and there. But without the Avengers, without the adventures that they go through, without another hero, at least allow Black Widow, hey, he's just a dude. And I'll watch the show because I got to for Gauntlet, but it doesn't do nothing for me, man. It's a level above Batwoman. I'll give it that.
So I'm assuming though, what is your interpretation of the scene we were just talking about then?
Like I say, they gonna throw you a bone. It was all right. They're gonna throw you a bone every now and again to keep the show interesting because they know that they have to show a fight scene because you are watching a superhero show. So they're gonna throw you a fight scene here and there to make sure you stay interested, make sure you stay vested in watching the rest of the show. But in terms of it overall being good, look at the first 2 episodes. No, and no. It's just nah.
Not your cup of tea.
It's not great. No. I mean, I love the fact that they are portraying him as a father. I do love that because that's the one thing that we have in common. But past that point, showing him with the kids, talking to him, I thought it was interesting the fact that you learned, if you didn't know already, he was deaf. If you didn't know that already, you know it now. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, other than that, it's just nah.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, that definitely is an interesting aspect that, basically all the explosions over the years, has damaged his hearing, and they make that kind of a focal point in this series. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
And half the explosions are his fault.
Yep.
Every time
you have a comment?
Arrow, boom. Nobody tell you to shoot. Nobody tell you to shoot that arrow.
Yeah, no, Cyber. I was just gonna say that, just like Debbie was saying, it's the tracksuit mafia guys are almost like too farcical in a way. Like they're so inept that, I mean, I'm not trying to get too far into the episode and everything, but they can't seem to do anything right.
That is very, very correct, I would say. But I think that's kind of the point of them in this series. I think they're supposed to be the comic relief, and I think that's the reason why they made them like that.
What up,
because they're just like that comic relief, bro. Bro.
Debbie, what's up, bro?
Well,
bro.
They must make
bro.
Typically, Kingpin doesn't fool around with his operatives. So
true, very true, very true.
That's true.
So yeah, I mean that whole scene was really fun. You get some great action going on, and then once they break out, that's when they break out and they basically hot wire a car and then have this gigantic chase sequence. So they go from action to more action, and William's like shaking his head like, no, not more of the action. And so basically we have this giant car sequence. They're chasing each other and stuff like that. The tracksuit mafia is chasing after them in these vehicles. And basically Kate Bishop kind of gets a lesson in Hawkeye's arrows, basically, the different types that he has and stuff like that. And as they proceed through this, she's shooting all these different arrows that do all these different types of things. We get a pin particle one. We get a suction cut one. We get all these different types of arrows and stuff like that.
You got the gel arrow too.
Yep. And, as they proceed through this, they're using these to try to stop the tracksuit mafia from chasing them and stuff like that. And basically they get towards the end where the suction cup arrow eventually comes into play and actually works after she shoots it into the windshield of one of the cars, and it doesn't do anything.
Right.
So my question for you guys is what was your thoughts on that whole sequence and kind of learning about the different arrows that Hawkeye had in his arsenal? Starting with you, Debbie.
Well, yeah, I like his trick arrows. My only question is, why does he only keep? He never keeps very many, and I don't know why, because it looks like the thing that's on his back has plenty of room for a ton of arrows.
It looks like his quiver should hold a whole lot more arrows.
Yeah. So I he's always running out, and I don't know if that's like a running joke or whatever. But anyways, yeah, I like the trick arrows. The one.
Blame Biden, Debbie. It's Debbie. It's Biden's fault.
Did he just say Biden? Oh my gosh.
During the Trump
Yes,
administration,
William.
Oh my gosh.
I had a full quiver of arrows.
What do you do? Give the arrows to the poor? Is that what he did? Did he give the arrows?
The only trick arrow and that's probably because it didn't look realistic. I think it was the I don't know if they called it the silly putty one where it went on the window and it grew.
Oh, yeah.
That looked
purple. Yeah.
That looked really CGI. I mean, it didn't even look realistic. It's like they didn't even try.
Looked like Nickelodeon slime. That's what it looked like.
But yeah, I love all the trick arrows. I like the I was really surprised with the Pym arrow that
one shot me too.
Yeah, that was
the one that got me.
But I like that one, and I was really heartbroken when the 72 Challenger was totaled. That was a sweet card.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Nice. I love muscle cars, so that broke my heart.
Yeah, classic card too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about you, Gerald? What did you think about that scene?
I think the best part for me was something that actually was shown in a sneak preview before the series started, and that was the sequence as they are just trying to get away. It's a continuous shot sequence as they're leaving the parking lot. I found that to be very impressive and one of the most interesting things I've seen in any of the television shows on Marvel this year. Then it kind of dragged a little bit after that once they got through the Christmas tree lot, and then you started going in and checking for arrows and things of that nature. And I think if they shortened the chase for about maybe even about 3-4 minutes from what it was, I think it would have been a little bit more concise, a little bit better. But it started out great with that continuous shot sequence that I thought was really creative. And I thought for a television show was something that was unique. And I would expect seeing something like that on a feature film, or if it was a Marvel film up on the big screen. But I'm not used to seeing those type of continuous shots, which, for tricks out there usually are not just continuous shot. It's usually done in separate shots, but they're fancy editing and involved in order to go ahead and make it look like a continuous shot for the most part on all these type of things. That is something that it's not done enough in television. So I really found it intriguing, and I really found it something that was well worth watching. That part of it, again, it kind of dragged out a little bit, but for the most part on the chase, once they got to the bridge and whatnot, but for, leading into it, I thought it was very good for what it was.
Gerald, I've got you on that, bro.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Okay, bro.
Definitely.
All right, bro.
Bro.
See you, bro.
Oh my goodness. Bro. Anyways, so thank you, Gerald. That was wonderful. I can see, I'm sure there's plenty of people that have probably thought that was a little too long. And I just thought it was really enjoyable. I thought they did a good job with that. I like that they took the time to kind of go through the different arrows and give us kind of an idea of what other arrows Clint has. I think that was pretty cool.
I am with Debbie, though. I do agree with Debbie. They need to start showing more what he can do. Maybe later on down the line with more arrows to kind of like establish him a little bit, kind of try to break him out of that boring mode per se. I just feel he's like, if he would have been Ronin off the bat, okay, I got you. But you're establishing it from Hawkeye. Don't know if you're gonna see him as Ronin or not. I hope so. I think that's where the ratings are, because I'll give Clint his credit as Ronin. He's a badass. But they need to do something in this. I feel that establishes Hawkeye more as establish Hawkeye in terms of maybe he can be awesome. Maybe he won't. You can break him out of that boring mode. And I think showing more arrows in his quiver and using more of those would really help with that.
So what else did you think about that scene there that we were just talking about, William?
It was okay. It was something. It was filler. for the most part, but it wasn't but it was filler for the most part. But yeah, it was all right. Like I said, the Pym arrow got me. That's the one thing that did get me. I didn't expect that. That's the one thing that got me. That was kind of cool. I got it. I got to give my boy props on that one. That was kind of cool. But everything.
Yeah, the Pym one was really cool. I thought that was a cool,
awesome.
Ingenious idea.
Yeah, that was ingenious. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. How about you, Jeff? What did you think about that scene?
I think he's going.
I think that basically one thing that kind of throws me off a little bit with this series is just that, and I'm not trying to be on the same page with William with all his like Hawkeye hating and shit, because I'm not down with that. I love Hawkeye,
bro.
I'm with Gerald, like and Debi, like I love Hawkeye, so but I want to point out that Clint was with S.H.I.E.L.D. for like years and years and years and everything before he was ever an Avenger, him and Black Widow. And we saw like in like the Avengers, for instance, when they showed the flashback to, not the flashback, but like the video tape that they were showing in the background of them in Budapest or whatever. Like, Hawkeye's been in hardcore war zones and stuff like that and everything, and had to fight his way through and whatnot. So I kind of feel like, in a way, they're almost not showcasing how talented he can be, like how effective he can be, because he can be really effective in combat when he wants to be. Again, William is going to talk his junk, but I think that he played like a very important role in the Avengers in the Battle of New York. Like, he was a key part of that. I mean, he wasn't just there. He was actually an important aspect of it, calling shots and everything from his nest and everything, and catching strays and everything and whatnot. He was really great. And what I really enjoy about Kate Bishop in the series is that she idolizes Hawkeye. That's the thing that I like about her, is I like that she likes Hawkeye so much, and he doesn't really understand why. But as far as that chase scene goes, I mean, I don't want to be repetitive, but the trick arrow stuff was fun. It was cool. I enjoyed the chemistry between Clint and Kate Bishop. That's definitely a highlight for me, and was a highlight for me in that scene. And it was nice to see her archery skills for once, since we haven't really seen much of that.
I think they in the first two episodes they showed it quite a bit, actually. I thought, especially with the bell tower scene, and there was a few scenes in that second episode that showed her skill. So I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. It was nice to see more of it, but I definitely feel like she got quite a bit of time shown her archery skill so far in the series. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do further down the road, to see if they give her even more and more. You know what I mean?
Well, I would hope so, Cyber, because again, if you want to go by the comic book run, which I think is there's a reason why it's praised and highly regarded as it is. In the comic book run, the Matt Fraction run, she's using her bow and arrow all the time. You're very rarely seeing her ever actually going hand to hand with anybody. It's always the bow and arrow. So I hope they end up getting around to that Kate Bishop. That's the Hawkeye Kate Bishop.
Yeah, I'm maybe because they're just introducing her, maybe they're going to show her evolve, and that's kind of what it'll end up becoming, is more like the comic books. Hopefully, you never know. They could want her to be more combat. You know how Marvel is; they like to change things up. With their series sometimes, and they're different than what the comic books are doing. They take liberties and so forth. So, I always find it weird sometimes when they take, there's certain liberties that I feel that are really positive for the characters versus what they did in the comics and the movies, and makes more sense. Well, then there's other times when you're just like, why did you do that change? I don't get that one. It should have stayed the same like it was in the comic books. So hopefully we'll get that, that type of Kate Bishop eventually in the MCU. So moving on. So we have that climactic car chase scene. We have to see that awesome Pym arrow. And basically, during that whole ruckus and everything, Hawkeye actually his hearing aid gets broken, and so they need to get it fixed because, of course, with the next scene we see him and he's like in the kitchen putting ice, bags of frozen peas or whatever on his head to from the combat and stuff like that, and then he gets a phone call from his son, and unfortunately he can't hear it because his hearing aid has been destroyed or broken, we should say. And so there's that conversation that ends up going on, and Kate is writing down what the son is saying so that he can see what the son is saying so he can respond. And I thought that was a very powerful scene, especially because it's once again it's showing that type of personal relationship that Hawkeye has with family. And I just like William was saying, there's a huge family dynamic for Hawkeye for some reason throughout every single movie he's been in, basically. I mean, since Age of Ultron. So I mean that's a huge part of who Hawkeye is, which is completely different than what's in the comic books. Because honestly, I don't ever remember him being very family oriented in the comic books. He was more like the Green Arrow and stuff like that. He was, a hero. And so I think that was interesting that they included that and made it a little bit more personal for him. Once again, kind of the reason why he ended up becoming Ronin in Endgame, the loss of his family and stuff like that. So I think that's a fun thing that they did. And that whole scene was really interesting. So then once that happens, they end up in front of this little like Asian market or something. I don't know where exactly it's supposed to be, but to get Hawkeye's hearing aid fixed. And so they get his hearing aid fixed, and finally he's able to hear again. And then basically it ends up going and showing them at this diner having a conversation, and we kind of learn a little bit more, and we get a little bit more history and stuff like that. They talk a little bit about Ronin and stuff like that, and Kate's still kind of thinking that that Clint knows Ronin, but doesn't realize that Ronin is Clint. So my next question for you guys is, what did you think about that conversation and kind of how Kate doesn't realize that Clint is Ronin still? Because you think she's such a clever girl, she would already know that. So starting with you, Gerald.
So when it comes to, when you're coming out of the trying to get his thing fixed, you start seeing his family life. He gets the call from his son, and you start to see 10 years of Marvel action with him. I think basically is what it comes down to. You start to see what's going to evolve with his character, and I know he said in interviews he would love to come back to maybe guide or lead a West Coast Avengers if they ever come with something like that. So maybe someday he will be able to do that. I would love to see that happen, but you're starting to see, I think, the evolution of, I know you're shaking your head, but I'm just saying that maybe at this point in time, they're trying to evolve the character, and Jeremy Renner, maybe I don't know if it's the start of him walking out or leaving the Hawkeye character, but I think it's just, again, this is going to be a showcase. This whole series is a showcase for, I think, an evolution of the character transitioning from one character to the other. And you just see that they're emphasizing his family life, his home life, and how much of a priority it is to him. And ultimately, I think he's going to have to make a decision, or his character is going to have to make a decision on what is he going to continue to do? Is he going to continue to sacrifice his family life, or is he going to go ahead and, basically join his family and maybe stay off of the, let's say, superhero radar for quite some time? And I think you're getting glimpses of that in these quiet scenes like the one he had with his son.
So what did you think about the fact that Kate still thinks that Ronin is somebody else, though?
I think it's good because it's going to come up for a dramatic conclusion. And Haley Steinfeld, I think she's a tremendous actress at this. I think she's done a whale of a job, and I think that the future is very bright for her and her character. I think the fact that, for, I don't say comedic value, but for a shock value, when something surprises her or shocks her, she's a tremendous actress in how she emotes that, that type of thing. So you can see this coming. You can see her getting like the eyes bugging out and her just like, screaming at the top of her lungs, what, when she's going to ultimately get surprised, the fact when whether she finds out accidentally or he lets her know that he is Ronan. So you can see it coming. You can see them setting up for that shock scene that she's going to have, because every time that she's already been shocked already when Jeremy Renner, and Hawkeye tells her something new, you can see the surprise and how much they want to go ahead and highlight that. And I think that's going to be, they're just setting it up for something like that, because it's for her. It's not only is it funny, but it just shows her type of character and how high strung she is, and so much different. She's so much different than the way Jeremy Renner has played the Hawkeye character, and it's very intentional.
Very true, very true. How about you, William? What did you think about that scene where they're having that conversation after he gets his hearing aid fixed, and basically her still not realizing that he's Ronan?
If he did tell her, that would kill half the show. So you have to keep things going as is. And I do like the fact that you do have that human dialogue between the two of them. Pretty much a student teacher type of mentorship going on there. I do like that fact. I love any type of human development you get in any story, regardless of who the character is. And I do like it. If he doesn't tell her, she'll figure it out eventually. The character is very smart, on her toes, on her feet. The thing that I'm looking for to happen, Hawkeye goes be with his family, because again, single dad myself, goes and chooses his family over the hero and let Kate take it over. That's what I'm sort of kind of wishing happens, because again, Kate's ready to step up. You already see it. She's ready to step up. She's ready to take the role, ready to take the mantle. Let her do it, and let him go be with his family, which is the most important thing in his life.
Very true.
Agreed.
Very true.
Yep.
Agreed.
Well said.
Very well said. How about you, Debbie?
I think it's a little too soon for Kate to be taking over. She's just way too cocky and annoying. I like her as a character, but like the first 2 episodes when she was like really fangirling a lot, that got annoying. But at least not right now. And I don't know. I mean, we're talking a time frame of about 5 days, because this show will end probably at Christmas, timeline wise. So there's only 5 days. I'm not sure she's going to learn about Ronan within that time. If she does, it's going to be at the end of the show. And I don't know. I haven't seen it. Is Hawkeye listed as a limited series?
Yes. That's 6 episodes.
It's limited, yeah.
It's part miniseries.
Okay. Because I was kind of hoping it might go into a season 2 or something, but as of right now, she needs to eat some humble pie. Shut up, William.
Well, I also want to say, I think off the initial reaction of ratings, I don't think it's going to get a season 2, because it's according to whatever metrics they can give. Although Disney hasn't shared it, what metrics that people are able to gauge off it, it's trailing right now any of the episodes. I think a lot of people feel like William does on that.
And I don't mean to necessarily rain on Jeff's parade, because I know Jeff likes him, but I brought it up on this show several times. Why Hawkeye? That's all I'm saying. Why Hawkeye?
They can't all have superpowers. I mean, Hawkeye is Joe Blow off.
I love that transition.
That was a good one.
You gotta send me that. I love that transition. But that's my thing. Why? That's all I've asked. There's other characters that could have been brought in that would have brought better ratings, I feel. Other Avengers you could have used if you want to go the Avengers route.
Very true. Very true. And last not but least, Mr. Jeff, what were your thoughts on that scene, sir?
Yeah, Jeff, what's your thoughts?
I mean, it was all right. if I had to say what was the filler of the episode, for me that was the filler. Like, I mean, I don't know. It didn't do that much for me, really. It was kind of cute, I guess. Hawkeye should definitely think about investing into some contraception, maybe, because he seems to be popping kids out left and right, bro. Like, come on, bro. But anyways, no, it was cute and everything. It's nice to see, like, again, the chemistry between them. Like Gerald said, Haley Steinfeld, regardless of what she does, with K-Ship in this series, she has a wonderful career ahead of her.
Yes, she's
does. Very
young. She's a bright spot. To me, she's a bright spot of the show.
Well, she was in True Grit, and she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress or something like that.
That's correct. Yes.
Was that her in True Grit?
Yes, that's her in True Grit. Plus, also she's if let's say Marvel wants to cut her character off right now, remember she's also into the Spider-Verse.
Facts.
As Spider-Gwen. So
Facts.
she's got a career with Marvel nonetheless.
Regardless. Yep. Good point.
Yeah, I mean, Cyber, honestly, it was a cute little deal, like with her, doing the translating and everything for him because he couldn't hear. But I just as far as what we were talking about earlier with why Hawkeye never has any arrows and his quiver is always so low, I think I actually know a guy who might be able to tell us what's going on with that.
Oh, Lord.
Due to inflation, one good girl is now worth 1,132.13 bitches.
Yes. That's it right there.
Only on the bleeding edge.
That made absolutely no sense to what we were talking about. No sense.
That's why I said only on the bleeding edge.
Oh God. Anyway.
But that, yeah, because if you look in the comics, he's got a full quiver for the most part, and it's like, I don't know.
In the comics, he never runs out of arrows.
Yeah, he never runs out of the comics. Never. It's a full quiver, and he never runs out, no matter how many he shoot.
Yeah, since Avengers 1, I mean, he's run out of arrows every single movie. It's like hilarious. Like, why do you have such an empty quiver?
Man,
like,
Debi, you need to pay that man for royalties, Debi. You need to pay that man his royalties so he can buy some more arrows, Debi. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, that's just weird.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, good points there, Jeff. Yeah, most definitely. I can see that being the lower part of the episode, most definitely the filler as well. And talking about Haley Steinfeld, I knew from the first moment I saw her in True Grit, I knew she was going to be a fantastic actress.
I knew she was going to be good.
I knew she was going to be good because she put out one of the best performances in that movie. And I knew I was going to enjoy her in anything she did after that because she just was so good.
And Gerald brought up a good point. And Gerald brought up a good point. Didn't mean to cut you off. And Gerald brought up a good point too, because the way she's showing her character's emotions on her face like that, when she gets surprised and everything, it's just really good to see. And like she's been the whole bright spot of the series to me. This is showing her off and her acting skills, and I enjoy watching her. Jeremy Renner's a good actor too. To get me wrong, he's just playing the boys character in the Marvel universe. But besides that fact, hey, she's doing her job. She's doing her job very well.
Cyber, I just want to point out from earlier that Tony Dalton, that plays Jack Duquesne or whatever, Mira Farmiga's fiance or whatever, that is the swordsman and is Hawkeye's mentor in the comics. The actor himself actually has come out and said that he's not going to be that character in the series.
Wow.
Yep, I saw that too. I
Wow.
I read that too in an article. Yeah, because I looked him up too to see what his character was, and I read that exact same thing. So yeah, I think it's interesting that once again, MCU taking their liberties and changing things. So it'll be interesting to see just what they end up doing with this character, versus what his comic book actual character is. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what they do with Jack, because so far I've enjoyed him. I thought he's been an interesting character, and I'm very interested in seeing where it goes and like where he ties into what happened to the other gentleman that got killed in episode 2 and so forth and stuff like that. So I think that's gonna be interesting. So to kind of round out this episode, So after that conversation in the diner, basically Kate, gets Hawkeye to agree to go and check out the penthouse where Jack is, and because she has made it aware that basically she thinks that he's done something, he's killed the rich gentleman before and stuff like that. So they basically go to the penthouse to break in and stuff, and kind of she's having a hard time trying to break in and everything, even though she supposedly has all the cues and everything. And then basically the episode ends showing Jack with the rodent sword, and Hawkeye's coming up. Hawkeye's face comes right up to it, and that's how it ends. So my last question for you guys for this episode of Hawkeye is, what were your thoughts on Jack showing up with the rodent sword right there at the end? And what are your thoughts? Like, what do you think that's going to play out to be, or do you think that's something that's going to be important down the line in the 6-part series? Starting with you, Gerald.
Well, like you said, it's kind of a shame that he's already let the cat out of the bag, that you're not going to see him as the swordsman character. I think Marvel should just say, you know what? I think whenever you just promote the show, no spoilers, and if you feel like going ahead and spoiling it for people, go sequester yourself into a house or something. You can just spill it out to maybe like a family member. They can go ahead and I can NDA to just that's it. Just don't say anything to anybody.
You can tell the family dog. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Tell the family dog. Family dog won't tell anybody else. But I think that it's like you said, it's going to lead to something. Whether or not it leads to a Hawkeye season 2, we'll see. But I have a feeling it's going to lead where all these characters are going to be like maybe in the Daredevil series if they go ahead and reignite that, which seemingly they're on the course of doing so. Echo, I have a feeling a lot of these people will be seen in the Echo series as well. So I have a feeling that if he's not going to appear as a swordsman in this series, and you're going to see any type of climactic battle between his character and Hawkeye, which I would personally love to see, I have a feeling that they're saving it for, like I said, Echo and Daredevil and anything associated with that. Dare I say, Hell's Kitchen, area. As far as the superhero series are concerned, as they concentrate on that. It's almost like they're reverting back to the Netflix series again, and they're just like concentrating on that area of the Marvel Cinematic
That's
Universe.
exactly, Jared, I don't mean to cut you off, but you make a really great point there. That's exactly what I was talking about on MCU Monday with Debi and Chris. The fact that I almost feel like this Hawkeye that we're getting, at least from like the Matt Fraction comic book run, is one where it very much mirrors like a Daredevil type like Hawkeye, like it's a very similar atmosphere.
I have a feeling that's the way they want to trend, because like we said, we're about ready to see She-Hulk, Daredevil, Echo. These are all confirmed series. Maybe even, I don't know where Miss Marvel is staged at. Does anybody know as far as where Miss Marvel will be situated?
Somewhere in New York, late 2022.
Well, I know. I mean, it's not date, but the location.
Ain't it New York?
What a shock!
I thought
it was New York. I could be wrong. I thought it was New York.
I think you're probably right. I see from the
Jersey.
cityscapes in the trailer, it seems like it's New York. So if that's
New Jersey.
They're New Jersey, like
New Jersey. Okay, New Jersey. Okay.
So, but I mean, you're seeing that small area, New Jersey, New York area, funnel all these superheroes and criminals. It looks like that you have a seemingly almost endless ways of introducing or going ahead and expanding upon these characters. And if he's already said that you're not going to go ahead and see him as a swordsman in this time frame in the series, you're going to see him in one of those series coming up. So it's obviously they have plans for him. Vera Farmiga's character, they obviously have plans for her. Could she be Madame Mask? You never know. I'm assuming that's going to be the case. I see some head shaking. Yes.
Yes.
So obviously that's where it is. I think that's where it's headed as well. So I think you're going to see a lot of these characters you're going to see in all these other New Jersey, New York series. I think Jeremy Renner is the one individual that you're not going to see coming up, because I think he's going to take a break from Marvel, and whether or not they bring him back for season 2 or anything else, that remains to be seen, because it just seems like when he interviews, he's just like, okay, I've done my job. I've done my fill. I think I'm close being done. I
you
get
gotta
those
realize.
vibes.
I mean, you guys got to realize how long these actors have been in these roles.
I mean, he wasn't given the same shot like Chris Hemsworth, because Chris Hemsworth was given a new bolt of life with Taika Waititi totally changing his character, which gave him the initiative to be more himself with his comedic character, and something he does very well is playing a comedic character. Jeremy Renner has not been given a character readjustment per se. We just see more of the individual now that has been hinted upon in the movies. I think that's probably why. I don't know if you ask Jeremy Renner off the screen, maybe he'd tell you he's still interested. But Kevin Feige's always said you got to be excited at this point forward. If you're not excited about playing the character, they'll just go ahead and move on.
Yep. I just want to make a quick point, Cyber, coming off of what Gerald said. I think it's interesting and important to bring up the fact that as we talk about Hawkeye the way we have and his whole tenure with the Avengers and everything, he was like a seriously major, integral, and fun, interesting part of Endgame. Like when he wasn't there for Infinity War and then he came back for Endgame, he was like a really interesting and fun part of that whole team and everything. With them bringing him back with his different haircut and everything. I think that people were really missed him when he wasn't there in Infinity War, and they were happy to see him come back. I know I was.
True. All right, William, your final thoughts, sir.
I was kind of hoping they were going to throw down right then, but they're going to wait for the next episode. Look, I'm just saying, if you're gonna make Hawkeye this character that we have to watch, put him in situations that are exciting to watch. And I thought they should have thrown down right there, and then in the middle of the battle, come back to next week or whatever. But we gotta wait until that time. We gotta wait until next week to possibly see him fight. But yeah, at that point, before that happened, it kind of pointed down for me from that point forward. But again, it was kind of interesting to see Kate do her thing with her computer. It's also kind of interesting to see she got locked out. So apparently they know it's her trying to pull up this information because she got locked out of the system. So I thought that was kind of interesting there too, that her computer hacking finally got stopped. But yeah, it just bottomed out from that point. Car scene, thought we could have got the fight. If we would have got that fight, that would have saved the episode, but we got to wait till next week.
Very true. Very true.
Man, let me see the fight now.
Give William the fight, MCU. No. Anyways, so Debbie, your final thoughts.
Kate's mother, Eleanor, is sketchy as hell. She is sketchy as hell. And I think her and
call out, Debbie. Call out.
I think they're in cahoots because every time Kate tries to bring it up to Eleanor, she just kind of dismisses it and changes the subject, tries to, get it away from him, Jack. So I think they're in cahoots. I think she's Madam Mask.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah. And I think there will be a throwdown. Maybe the next episode will be when Kate realizes that Clint is Ronin.
Hey, can we get Kate and the mom going at it?
Maybe the mom is working for the Kingpin.
Yeah.
I think it's all related.
Yeah.
It's all related.
Jeff,
well,
that would be
and that's pretty.
awesome.
I mean, if you're Kate Bishop, you're seeing yourself. Okay, your mom went from one extreme at the very beginning of the series, way back in 2012, to owning a security company. Obviously engaged to a individual that you think is very nefarious. And if your mom is the leader of a security company, you think she would probably know something about this guy or two. Right. And yeah, so I mean, she should know by now that something's not exactly entirely hunky dory about what's going
It's
on in the
hinky.
series. Yeah. So
I like those. I like those theories though, because that could take this show to a whole different level. Because at that point, you're taking your focus off of Hawkeye at that point, and more on the story itself.
And I think that's what this whole series is about. It's not necessarily, again, it's trying to serve a lot of purposes. And while, yes, one is obviously to go ahead and ingratiate everyone again to Hawkeye's character, I think the bigger purpose is bigger purpose is to introduce all these other characters that you're going to be see a lot more of down the road. So Jeremy Renner, you'll probably not see a whole lot of down the road. You'll be seeing a lot of these other characters down the road. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think this series, because with the other ones we've had, and I think it was brought up on our MCU Mondays, we've had mythical, we've had, whatever, we've had Age of Ultron, we've had robots and everything. And Hawkeye is more grounded in this whole series, just like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. It's all, street level, the
Soldier,
Punisher. I mean, they're just all, they're all street level, and they all have street level villains and whatnot. So that's kind of why I like Hawkeye, because he's your average Joe. He doesn't have powers. It's all his talent with the bow and arrow.
Very true, very true. And finally, Mr. Jeff, your final thoughts, sir.
Hawkeye also definitely has some talent in the reproductive category, because he seems to be able to continue to increase his family number left and right. So either way,
you better not get divorced no time soon. That shot
I think everybody pretty much talked everything there is to talk about with that final part of Hawkeye episode 3. Why don't we roll into the Spider-Man trailer?
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you for taking that away from me. Oh, you're so lovely.
What?
I'll give you what? I'll
say that, Jeff. What?
Anyways, so yes, so that is the conclusion of episode 3 of Hawkeye. I want to thank everyone for their thoughts on that, and all did great. And to close out this episode of The Bleeding Edge tonight, where we're going to review, there's actually a third trailer for Spider-Man 3 No Way Home. So we're going to show that trailer, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So, Jeff, please.
That spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man. Be careful what you wish for. We started getting some visitors from every universe.
The multiverse is real?
Looks like we got competition. You're not Peter Parker.
I am so confused right now.
Parker, we need to send them back.
You're thinking, hey, I'm about to do something that could break the universe. Run it by us next time.
Deal.
Let's catch some multiverse men.
Peter,
You're struggling.
Look, there has to be another way.
They're a danger to our universe.
have everything you want, while the world tries to make you choose. Is that a dinosaur?
I'll fix this, but I'm gonna need some help.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. This is why I never had kids.
You're not gonna take this away from me. Do you know Peter Parker, who's Spider-Man?
Yes.
Is that him?
No.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
I'm sorry, kid.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Get your tickets now, ladies and gentlemen. Do it now. Don't wait.
So that was
actually the advance is really good on it, right?
The advance.
The advance, the tickets, because tickets went on sale on Monday, and only Avengers Endgame is outpacing it as far as at this point. So.
Yep.
Really?
That's why I say don't wait. Go ahead and do it now. You know you're gonna see it. Everybody here gonna see it.
It's so funny that
I
they're
don't
trying to
have
scalp
that problem
tickets for thousands of dollars.
Look at that. No.
I'll just walk in the theater Saturday morning and
absolutely. You're gonna find a seat. You're gonna find a seat.
Everybody can't be a princess like you now. Come on.
When you're a senior Debi, they just give you a seat in the theater. You don't have to pay.
Well, I live in a very small town, so
everybody knows you already.
I don't think it's going to be an issue. So
it's Debi.
Same thing here. My town's
small.
small.
Get to see on the front row, Debi. Come on down. Come on down. We got you. Want some popcorn and some Diet Coke?
That's right. That's what I always get.
I guessed it.
So yeah, I mean that definitely was a different trailer than the previous two. I thought it showed a little more action with the bad guys. I do believe though that there's the one scene where Spider-Man's jumping out towards Sandman, Lizard, Electro, and stuff like that. And I swear to God, in this trailer I saw two other additional Spider-Mans jumping out with him. So I think that just confirmed that the other two Spider-Mans are in this film. Because if you think about it, you look at the like how they cut the scenes. There's certain parts where they're like, like Peter's like, why do we have to do this? There's a way we can save these people. And why would he be saying that about the villains? To me, that's saying right there, showing pure point that the other Spider-Mans are in this film. So I think that's kind of interesting that that's how they cut it together. They kind of throw you off, but at the same time, it's basically like kind of like a Easter egg going, yes, where the other Spider-Mans are in this film. So I think that's kind of interesting. That's how they cut it like that.
I agree with you, Cyber. I don't think Peter Parker is talking about just Doc Ock, because it's obvious that him and Doc Ock are going to team up in the film. I think he's obviously talking about other people that he's going to be getting together with to fight back against these multiverse villains.
Most definitely. What were your guys' thoughts on that trailer? Starting with you, Deb.
I really wish I hadn't seen that. I had been staying away from. I've seen the first two trailers. I didn't want to see any more, and this is what pisses me off about movie studios is that they release, 10,000 TV ads, which thank God I don't watch TV because I stream everything. But when they just keep releasing trailers and trailers and trailers, and then it's just like, okay, there's no surprise anymore. So I wish I hadn't seen the other Spider-Man. I'm excited to see the movie. I just would have rather had been surprised in the movie theater to see that.
So you're saying you saw the other Spider-Mans too in that trailer?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
I'm not saying it's Toby or Andrew, but it could be from other multiverses, Peter Parkers. It doesn't have to be Toby and Andrew.
How about you, Gerald?
I'm excited to see it. That's what it does. That's what these trailers are supposed to do. It's supposed to give you the vibes to go ahead and, go out and spend the money. And in some cases, maybe go on eBay and spend thousands of dollars on a ticket. But for me, again, I just can't wait to go ahead and see it. I've never been the biggest Spider-Man fan. I still am, enjoying what I'm seeing, as an MCU fan. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing, especially the interactions between Tom Holland Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So it's a new dynamic between those two. Is Doctor Strange maybe kind of mentoring him? Maybe not. I guess it's not as well as obviously Iron Man has, but still, it's very interesting to see where this is going and how Tom Holland's Spider-Man character manages to mess up a very good spell.
Very true. Very true.
I will make one additional comment.
Yes,
I
Debi.
loved seeing Jameson. Is that a dinosaur? I about fell out of my chair. That was hilarious. I can't wait to see more of him in the movie.
I'm so glad they brought him back too, because he was perfect as J. Jonah Jameson in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I wish they had brought him in for the Amazing Spider-Mans, but but at least we got him in the Tobey Maguire ones. But yeah, he's fantastic. I love J.K. Simmons. He's so freaking funny.
Awesome.
I know he was talking about where the studio was actually going to get rid of both the hair that he had in the original Spider-Man movies and the mustache, and he negotiated the mustache to stay. He couldn't win both, but just the mustache stayed. So
at least he had that
mustache.
The hair I can do without. Yeah, the hair.
Well, I think over the course of time, because it's been so many years since those first movies, they wanted to show something different about him. Because he was he's gone from a paper to an online setting. That's as far as the .com now he's part of. So yeah, with his site. So they wanted to show his character evolving. I think that they gave him an ultimatum, to actually take away both, and he negotiated to keep the mustache, and just so people will recognize the character that he has, that he was before. So.
How about you? What did you think about the trailer?
The only part that really stood out, and I forgot who I talked to this about earlier. It could have been on last show, matter of fact, Jeff. That I sort of kind of agreed with, that I sort of kind of interested to see, was toward the end when you got the scene that was similar to Gwen Stacy dying and Spidey trying to go off the rim to save her. I thought that was cool because that was one of the big moments with Spider-Man, and to see that again is just awesome. Hopefully this time he'll be able to save her, which I think he will.
I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping they kill off MJ.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
I can't stand Zendaya. I can't stand her. I think she's a horrible actress. And I would rather have them bring in a Gwen Stacy or another Mary Jane, actually.
Would you bring back the first Gwen Stacy?
Oh yeah, I think she was not too bad.
She was all right.
I thought she wasn't bad, but I'm not a big fan of Zendaya. I think she's overrated, and so killing. Wieners to you too.
You, man.
Wieners to you too, Jeff. Wieners to you.
Right. Oh.
Anyways, Jeffrey, what were your thoughts, sir?
Oh man,
that's it right there. That's the encapsulation of my thoughts right there. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, Lizard looked really cool in the trailer. Honestly, William, this trailer here that I dropped earlier a minute ago was different than the one we watched on that last show we did.
It was.
I like that. Is that like a black Spider-Man suit that you see him at one point?
Yeah.
I like that. And I liked the fact that he's using the Stark Spider-Man armor again with the legs and everything, like Doc Ock and everything with the legs.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's really cool. I like the fact that there's going to be like a dynamic where Doc Ock is going to be friends with Spider-Man, with Peter Parker, like our Peter Parker, Tom Holland Peter Parker. I feel like it's just going to be a good fit. Like I think it's going to be good chemistry between them, and I'm excited. I mean, look, I think that there's a good reason why they stuck the Eternals in the spot that they stuck them in, as far as
they got the bad movie out the way.
Yeah, they sandwiched it. They stuck the Eternals in between Shang-Chi and Spider-Man 3, knowing that if
ain't
Eternals,
nobody gonna remember the Eternals.
yeah, if Eternals bombed, they'd have Spider-Man 3 right there to kind of cover up for it.
Yep.
And I think that honestly, I think that it's gonna be close, but I would probably bet $20 that this Spider-Man film will make over $1 billion in the box office, even with how messed up things are with COVID and everything.
I'm gonna go a step further. If this movie achieves what it should achieve, it's gonna be a game changer. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If this movie achieves everything that it's supposed to, this is gonna be a game changer for the MCU.
It might literally, honestly, if you pay attention to some YouTubers and some journalists, William, we might need this movie to save and resuscitate the MCU, because these days, recently, I mean, I don't know if y'all have heard, but Disney and Marvel have lost money on all their movies recently.
They're a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're not losing anything.
I just think it's gonna be a game changer in terms of heading into phase 5.
If they invest their money wisely, they did not lose anything.
Yeah,
they just made over $2 billion on Endgame, so I don't even want to hear it.
And I just think that if it does what it's supposed to, it's going to leave so much for fans to want to jump into phase 5. It can be a game changer.
Could be. Anyways, so that is it, guys. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. I want to thank the awesome William, awesome Debi from GNN Network, which are always fun to have on. I want to welcome, of course, the great newcomer of the show from the amazing podcast that he does. Does anybody have anything they like to promote before we end the show, starting with anybody?
I just want to say real quick to Gerald. I see
Yes,
you, Kobe Bryant. I see you, Kobe Bryant gear back there. Much respect, man. Much respect.
No problem. Well, one of the shows that I do, I do, of course, do the Pop Culture Cosmos and PCC Multiverse. They're on every Monday and Friday. They cover the latest news and trends of pop culture. They're available on over 50 radio stations worldwide and everywhere you get your podcasts. The other shows I do during the week are after every Lakers game, plus also it's called the Lakers Fast Break. So we do post games for the Laker games, plus also as well a lot of stuff Laker related as far as extra podcasts, interviews, etc. So yeah, I do a lot of podcasting, and those are a few of my shows. So yeah, get a chance.
Where can I catch that podcast?
Lakers Fast Break. Just type in Lakers Fast Break anywhere. And it'll come right up. Yeah, just Lakers Fast Break. Or on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts. Yeah, it's really good. We do have a great time with that. Do about 3 to 5 shows a week, depending on their schedule. And then, of course, I do Monday and Friday shows on pop culture. So, yep. Busy. Always a good time. And November was probably the busiest month that we've had in pop culture in quite some time.
Yes.
Just way too much to see. Way too much. I think my eyes are like going like in 15 different directions from all the stuff I had to see this month. So this past month.
Well, thank you for that, Gerald. Definitely people check out his Laker Fast Break podcast and his other podcasts too as well. Definitely check them out. We thank you for being on. Debi or William, do you have anything you'd like to, plug or anything like that?
I'm kind of in the same situation as Gerald. I do Geek Gauntlet every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. On William Morgan Media over on twitch.tv/William Morgan Media for the Geek Gauntlet. But I also do Pinfall Podcast every 2 weeks on Sundays. We talk about the best in professional wrestling over there. Mondays, I'm on Facebook talking to Sports Report. We break down Major League Baseball, National Football League, NBA, and that is at 10 p.m. over on Facebook. You can check out the Sports Report page there. So definitely, ASA All Sports All Plays. I do the NBA Fast Break podcast over there. We talk about all teams. Yeah, we got some Laker fans over there too. Some delusional Lakers fans, man. Delusional. Oh my gosh.
I get that. I'm not delusional. I'll just keep it. I'll just keep it at that.
But we talk all basketball, love it, all sports, all plays. You can find them on Facebook as well, and that's on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Also on Tuesday nights, I'm part of All Sports All Plays Wrestling Podcast, and that is on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. Again, talking about professional wrestling, WWE, NWA, AEW, Impact Wrestling, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So definitely check me out in those places.
Awesome. Definitely check him out, people. Mr. William from Geek Gauntlet. And Debbie, did you have anything you like to plug? MCU Mondays or anything like that?
That's the only thing I can plug because I'm not up here with these guys. I'm kind of like, I have the one.
That may be the smartest.
That may be the smartest way to go.
Yes.
But yeah, if you guys want to catch some more Marvel talk, come over to MCU Mondays. We are on at 9:30 on YouTube and on Facebook. We always have a lot of fun over there. Chris and myself and Dave, and occasionally Jeff, sometimes William's on there, and other people from GNN. So yeah, we always have lots of fun. And so if you want to listen or come and talk about more Marvel stuff, we always love having people come on and making comments, asking questions, and that. So,
and if you want a free trip to the theater, just go see Debbie in her hometown. She'll get you in the theater for free. She'll get you in there for free, man. Free popcorn, free drink, man. She got that pool in her hometown, man. So
I got you, bro.
I'm glad you got me, bro.
And of course, all those people out there watching our podcast, don't forget to check out the MCU's Bleeding Edge. We have other podcasts that we have up, many other things. You got the first 2 Hawkeye episodes, all that stuff. Definitely check us out. If you enjoy our content here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, a part of the Geek News Now Network, definitely check them out. Check out our website at the MCUBleedingEdge.org. Definitely check out the Podcast Champions, which is a great podcast that we have pretty much always usually somebody from there on the podcast for our roster. Definitely check them out too. Of course, you can find me and Jeff on Rizzle. You can find us on TikTok. You can definitely check out my solo content on YouTube under Cyberneticshark too as well if you enjoy our content on here like this. And as always, want to thank you guys for being on. I want to thank you for those all that are watching now or after the live stream is done. And this is the MCU's Bleeding Edge, and we appreciate you guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Peace.